Yes, people, what's going on? Welcome back to United View. Welcome to another morning view. Hope you guys are doing well. Tuesday morning, 24th September. Big up to you if you're on the school run, if you're on your way to work, if you're chilling, if you're a little bit poorly and you're on the mend, if you just got the day off work and you're just vibing. Big up to you, whatever you are doing. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Get the love in, get the likes in, and get subscribed and tap that bell notification as well so you know when the latest UV content is coming your way.
Stuff.
Stuff, whatever UV, whatever it is. Just
UV.
click the bell and then you'll see it, mate. You'll see
UV, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. We got a lot to talk about today because yesterday, should I say, there was some stuff from Ben Jacobs talking about Man United's pursuit of a new left back. The type of profile that we want. A couple of names were mentioned as well. January signings, how likely or unlikely will they be? Because we've got Vavel in there, and there's talks of the summer transfer window being well underway for summer 25, which is something to get into. Even though it's a while away, Man United are still actively, sorting that out after their first window in the Ineos era, which, in my opinion, was a success. And of course, we're gearing up to face FC20 tomorrow night as well. So loads to get into. Let's have a chat. Let's get the roll call in there. Tabrez, I see you. Kristen is there. Stephanie Jenkins, morning Flex and Owen. She says, top of the morning, everyone. Phone is going in the pocket as I'm at work, says Starlord. Big up to you. Big up UV General Opener. Like, share, and subscribe, says Simon. Exactly. That is the first thing we start with. Let's get the first 100 likes in the bag. We're just over 50 now. Let's get 100 straight away. Early live likes, please, people, says Steffi Griffith. And Daniel Luciano says, morning, Flex and Owen. Big up, UV family. Let's get out quick. 100 likes. Exactly. So everyone's spoken. Lil Yo-Yo, I see you as well. And big up to you, show as well. Little Steve got buried by Turkish last night. Yeah, I've watched some of that. Big Steve had a real big bee in his bonnet for someone who wasn't rattled about what Arsenal did, and really? Turkish laid down a few things that suggested otherwise. It was really, really good. But yes, there is a little bit of news coming out as well as we've gone live as well. We'll bring you some little bits about what Rasmus Højlund's been talking about, some stuff on Erik ten Hag as well about with the injuries and etc. etc. Little bits and pieces, little snippets of information we'll also bring you throughout the show as well. But this left back situation, now this was Ben Jacobs, wasn't it, Owen?
Yes, it was Ben Jacobs talking about left backs, and Flex, we've spoken about left backs so often.
What do you think? Do you think we need any left back?
Well, people say when you don't give your opinion that much on certain things, you're sitting on the fence, and I have sat on the fence about this left back situation quite a bit. Ben Jacobs said the following, as you mentioned, that Manchester United still want a young left back. Bournemouth's Milos Kerkez is one profile explored, but Bournemouth wanted close to £40 million last summer to even consider a sale. I think they only bought him, a year ago? Although Bayern Munich's Alphonso Davies is another name considered by United, the strong expectation remains that he'll join Real Madrid on a free transfer next summer. It's one of those ones, the Alphonso Davies ones, where it's like, when years ahead of time, you know where they're going. Like everyone knows, go to Real Madrid, go to Real Madrid. But so is Lenny Oro. Anything's possible, folks. But he's going to Real Madrid. The left back thing, look, it's not even really news, is it? That Man United need a new left back. What I would say is, what took you so long, really? I still don't really understand why something wasn't explored. Maybe they're looking, when they're saying a young left back, they're saying the next one that's going to be there for 10 years. I don't think it's Kerkez from Bournemouth, to be honest with you. It was funny when those reports were coming out in the summer, and the Euros were on at the time. I think Hungary, I can't remember who they were playing in the group stages. And I think he might have had a good game. Everyone was like, maybe he is all that. I don't know. I think there might be some better options. But you've got plenty of time to explore them. But we need one. Desperately. It was really good news about Terrell Malacia being back in training last week. Obviously, only did the warm-up. He got the new player initiation. I don't know if you saw that, Flex, when he came out onto the training pitch, got the slaps on the back and all that kind of stuff.
Running through.
And I felt really, really good for him, because I never really liked the whole sort of meme stuff surrounding him
Oh, it
over
was
the last
ridiculous.
year. You know
Whereas
what I mean?
he's been
Or
kidnapped by this
yeah,
person, by that
or even
person.
like just like even like trying to sort of legitimately speculate on the sort
Yeah.
like says something's happened with Terrell, and you go, he's just injured. No,
Yeah, and he's
serious.
had some bad
It's
setbacks.
a cover up. It's a cover up, and just going. This guy's had 2 surgeries on his knee, and look, whether or not he's going to come back and be even what he was previously, which was the backup left back at Manchester United, who knows? But just on a human level, you're just glad to see him come back. You know,
100%. He might have thought he might not have played again. You
exactly,
ask him if he did an interview to see how he felt, he would have been.
yeah, and resume his career. So I'm glad for him for that. But if you're going to look at it sort of quite cold and just, you know, the reality of it is that we've got 2 left backs that have got massive, massive injury problems. And if Man United are going to progress and proceed, that's unacceptable, really. You need to have at least what they say, multi-players per position, several players per position. And we need to move on. Same comes to Luke Shaw. You know, he's injured. Malash is back in training for Shaw.
Oh, that's mental. We didn't think that would happen.
You know what I mean? And the Shaw one, it's peak Luke Shaw, really, isn't it? Because we got told at the beginning of the season, isn't it? Oh, he had a bit of a setback in pre-season, but he'll be back. And then it was he'll be back after the international break, wasn't it? He'll be back after the international break. Yeah, we were nothing.
Even that. Yeah, because even that, really.
Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, technically, it's not a lie because anytime he does come back, it would obviously be after.
Yeah, but that's what they said about like Rasmus and Mason Mount, and they are back.
And they exactly. So clearly, there's been. Let's just call it a spade. Like I know there was some rumors that he might be in team training for FC20. So we'll wait and see, and then we'll have to stand corrected. But even that, it still seems like there's been a little bit of a setback because it's not like you said, he wasn't as back as quick as Mason Mount and Rasmus Højlund. So I don't. No, I don't. I'm not sure about that one at all. I would lean more towards that. He's had another setback. But on the topic of left backs in general, needing a new left back, a young one in particular, goes without saying, mate. We've needed it for a hot minute, and especially it feels so weird, right? Even thinking about the last time, like we had, like just a left back, like solidly left-footed, up and down left back, like. It's just been fill-ins. All last year it was fill-ins. Apart from a couple of games here or there, which, you know, we did all right in. But, you know, to be a whole year without a left back, I've forgotten what it's like. To see someone on the left side, left-footed, who's actually meant to be there. And shout out to Dallo because he's doing a great job. He's, you know, he can seamlessly play both, and we're very lucky to have him. And, you know, we know that Mazraoui can do both as well. So we're lucky that we've got flexible players, and not just luck with Mazraoui. There's a reason why they've bought him as well, because he can do both. So it's not just luck, but we are. You don't want to just.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course it is.
The engine lights on.
We're one injury away to either one of them two in this period to being absolutely toast again and being back to where we were last year. Do you know what I mean? So the longer that Luke Shaw and Malacia aren't back, which clearly is going to take time, they could be nearly back, whatever. But less so Malacia. And the longer that, you know, Dallo as well, he's a machine. He's like the second coming of Bruno, really. Never gets injured, very rarely does. Can play a lot of games, really fit, really powerful, good athlete. But even that, like you said, only just tempting fate, man. The guy's got to play every game. And not just every game. He's got to play most of every game as well. Yeah. It's not like, well done, Dallo, you helped us out there, get off 60 minutes. Like, no, it's like, even against Barnsley, how about did he play the game?
Well, no, because Mazraoui came on for him later.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Yeah, later. But
you're
right.
Later. You're right, though. When the team news came out and it was Collier, and remember, you came on the match view, and because the initial thing was Collier, and it was like, well, it looks like he's going to be at left back. And then you naturally go, he's midfielder. Like, how can he play at left back? And then you go, no chance. And then you see him at left back, and you go, oh, yeah, because we've got no one.
And that is because we literally don't want to, like you said, don't want to run them into the ground.
No, exactly. Which is fine against Barnsley, but going forward, we've got Europa League games, so they're going to play the natural fullbacks in those positions. So what are you going to do, basically? What are you going to do? And it is a concern. Like I say, it's the engine light's on. You are driving your car, the engine lights come on, and someone goes, is that good? You go, It's always on.
Yeah, it's all right.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
It's fine. It's always on. And you go, sometimes you turn it on, it doesn't
Don't want
come
to
on.
spend the money.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
get sometimes, or have you ever had ones where you go, I just press this button and it goes away. You go, I reset. You know what I mean?
Bang,
You go,
bang on
you
top
press
of
it, you press it, go press this button, goes away for a bit. You go, oh, lovely. There must be nothing wrong. And then your car breaks down. And you go, oh yes, I've got to pay lots of money to get that fixed. That's a bit of an issue. That's what Man United are doing. Like you said, the tempting fate. Engine lights on. They're going up and down the motorway, and they're just sort of going like this before every journey.
Please. And then it's basically like waiting for, like, which is a lot of our realities, you might be waiting for a paycheck to come in so that you can get that big service or buy that part for your car or whatever, or you might
just
have other
make it
priorities.
to the end of the month.
Just make, do you know what I mean? It's like we're living month to month with the left backs, which again is in life is an absolute reality for many of us. Like there's no shame in that. But what I mean is that in football terms, as Ty would say, that's what it feels like with the left backs. Like you said, Owen, pray, cross fingers, hope that nothing goes wrong with them until we get some back. But they've been out for, Luke Shaw's been out on and off forever, and Molasse for the last 18 months consistently with this knee injury. Dalot literally never gets a rest, never, says Ridwan. And we need multifaceted workhorses, says Simon McGill. Don't think Ten Hag thinks Amas is ready as well, says Ridwan. Yeah, that's one where we're like, oh, why not? But I think we saw on we saw, didn't we? On tour that he's not quite ready yet. And you can't just throw players in just because they are left back. He's not quite ready yet. He had some good moments, some really good moments. I like the look of him, looks really exciting. But it's still very early to sort of say he's ready. And again, in training, like Eric says, you have to earn the right to play. And clearly they don't. And that's not because of an attitude problem. I mean, earning the right is being good enough, showing you're ready, as well as attitude and, persistence and effort and application. They're non-negotiables. But then it comes down to, are you good enough to make the step up yet? Can't just get in because you're trying hard. And the conclusion to that seems to be not quite yet, which is fine. He's 17, isn't he?
Well, that's the point as well, isn't it? I think
he's
it'll be
so
like,
young.
He's 17. Like you said, he played in pre-season, again, largely because nobody was there. If we had those people like Dalot, like Mazraoui, the only fullback we had on pre-season was Wan-Bissaka, wasn't it? And he was on his way out. So, that was also a part of it. And like you said, in some games he did do okay, did fine. As is the case with most sort of 17-year-olds playing senior football, physicality, bit of an issue. When you're playing in the Premier League, I mean, and nowadays, some of these wingers are absolute monsters, aren't they, in terms of physicality, pace, strength, and almost the last thing you would want for a 17-year-old to throw him in, just get ripped apart in the Premier and be like, oof, I tell you what, that is another level. So you want to be careful. You want to be careful of him. Now I see what some people are saying. Well, maybe in certain Carabao Cup games, if he's not playing against Barnsley, then he's not going to have quite many games this season, is he? I think that's the reality of the situation. So, it doesn't look like that's going to be an option. And I think the Shaw thing, it's the cherry on top of it, isn't it? Is just the fact that he did play for England in the summer, where very clearly he shouldn't have played for England in the summer.
I forgot about that.
That's the thing that sticks in people's craw, I think, as well, is the fact that
I forgot.
He got fit enough, and again, clearly he was not. Even though, and it's the typical thing with Luke Shaw, isn't it? When he did play for England, he played well, because when he's on the pitch, he always plays. It's not as if like Shaw's terrible. He's a very good player, but he doesn't play that much. And then because the whole, as an England fan as well, the whole thing was a farce, going through the tournament with again, like living in Man United thing, no left back, no natural left back.
Hoping nothing happens until one gets back in.
Because we were like, oh, get Luke Shaw. And he came back for semi-final and obviously the final. And you're just like, but this is taking the piss. And then get back in. And then it's like, well, he's injured, had a setback. And you go, I wonder where that came from. Wonder where that happened.
Was crazy, though.
It's mad.
Mental.
Yeah, it's mad.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. And I was like, why on earth would it? Him doing it, actually, I'm not going to lie, throughout the England camp, I was like, well, at least it will give him a bit of a pre-season, actually, so he can actually be ready. I weren't really
against it.
Going to
be the Leach principle, didn't you?
I thought that actually probably makes sense, actually. It saves us having to get him ready, so that way he can go and play competitive, top-level football. And the fact that England gambled on him, I thought he'd be ready a little bit sooner than he was. But I think he came through in like the quarters for like 15, 20 minutes, then so on and so forth. But after that, when you see him then not available for us, you just go, what is the point? What is the point? So, we badly need a left back. I'm not surprised to see Ben Jacobs saying that, we're in for one in the summer. It's got to be a priority. It will be a priority. We will get one. We will get one. It's as simple as that. We will do, and we have to. Do smash a like on the video as well, peeps. Andil says we've got over nearly 200 likes as well, which is good. So make sure you guys smash a like on the video. Andil says, let's be honest, guys. Shaw disrespected United with the Euros. I hear he played with pain injections. Well, not sure where you heard that from, what your sources are saying. So I'm not sure. But did he disrespect United?
Well, I think
it's easy to say that because he ended up being injured. I feel like if he would have come through that and been ready for us and playing, we would have been like, great. Do you know what I mean? But there was a hint that he would be fit.
I think that, again, why people would feel it's not disrespectful, because look, I think most people, if you had the opportunity, play for your country, major tournament, whatever, you put yourself on the line to do it. You know what I mean? So I don't.
Rashford did it.
It's not necessarily just that. I think it's the case that there were other people, like Harry Maguire had a calf problem or whatever. I suppose he probably could have done something similar to Luke Shaw all the way through the tournament, maybe play one game. But was it the right thing to do for the team, for his career, for Man United? Probably not, right? And like you said, now the fact that he's injured more, and also it's the fact that he hadn't played since February anyway. That was the other part of it, wasn't it? It wasn't like he had played the second half of the season. He picked up this injury right towards the end of the season, but it was like, but I'm going to do everything I can to be available. It was like, well, he hasn't been available for the majority of the year, and also his history. It's not like, well, this has come out of nowhere with Luke Shaw. He's very rarely injured. It's like, well, he's injured all the time. He hasn't played since Feb. He hasn't played any of the tournament. He's played a couple of games, and now he still hasn't played for United. Basically, we're heading into October, and he has played, how many months now has that he not played for United? So February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, like 7 months. 7 months. And during that time, he's played like 2 games, or, probably combined like 2 games for England.
Oh yeah, for England. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, Callum says you get one career and a limited amount of chances to try and win a major tournament. I don't blame Shaw for trying his best to end his career with a major international trophy. And that's Owen sort of into, like, you want to make yourself available, and of course you do. And he was out all season, so if you've got the chance to be fit near the end of the season, go to a major tournament. And actually, the gamble very nearly paid off. Nearly bloody won the thing.
But he wasn't fit. That's the problem, though, isn't it?
But exactly. He wasn't fully fit, but he's gone, right, I can play to a certain amount of game. I can play a certain amount of games towards the back end if we make it there. Plus I'm going to be in competitive surroundings and good intensity training, like even if he didn't play.
But that's when I go back to United, this conversation in the first place. That's when I go back to United saying, you have all of this data. This is not new stuff. Know that he hasn't been fit since February. You know his injury record. You know that he played in the Euros. You know that he's not fit now. And and your other left back hasn't played for over a year. So where is the logic of going through the transfer window going, we're not going to get a natural left back? It's not going to do it. We've got another right back who can play at left back. That to me, I will never be able to wrap my head around that. Even if they go, well, budget, emergency. I mean, that's why it was like last season we kind of did the Reguilon thing. Like, he was fine, well, not good. It was fine for what we needed from him. But we were so like gassed to an extent because we're like, oh, there's another left back that can play. You know what I mean? We're like, it's almost the Weghorst principle, isn't it? When you're so desperate just for a body in that position, when they do come in and they can kick the ball a little bit, you go, this is great. This is great. We got a solution. And that's where we're at the moment. We're just like, we need something. We need a natural, because as great as Dalot and Mazraoui are, imagine we did have a natural left-footed player on the left-hand side. And imagine with Dalot and Mazraoui, you could swap them out and you wouldn't have to be totally worried about fitness. Oh, what a luxury it would be. But that's not the position that we're in.
No, it's not. We're miles off that, to be honest, if we're being honest with it. Tabra says, Flex, are you coming up to Manchester tomorrow? Unfortunately, I'm not. I'm not going to be at the game tomorrow. I'm at funeral tomorrow. I had a family bereavement a little while ago, so I won't be at the game. So I'll be kind of off off it all, to be honest. I'm not even sure if I'll watch it, but I'll catch up with it obviously following day and stuff like that. I'll see how that goes. But yeah, unfortunately, I won't be at the game. So, but enjoy it, bro. Go get goals galore. And Shane said, need to start taking our big chances. 19 missed in the Premier League, and that exactly we're at the top of that, wasting chances. Do you know what I mean? Wasting chances every single game, and that's not easy to see that, but also say at the same time we're making progress. It's hard. We are missing a lot of chances. But to wrap up on that, yes, left back needed. No, there's no surprises that we are in for a left back then as well, because if we don't get one, what is going on? It's only because of a lack of resources after sorting out all the other positions and getting a multifunctional right back who could do both to help out. That we didn't get one this year, so we will see. Moving on, big up to everyone in the chat saying sorry for your loss, Flex. Condolences as well. Big up to you guys. Big love, big love. Appreciate you guys. Okay, what's next on the agenda now?
Well, no signings because this left back might want one, but it might not be coming in January, Flex, because Ben Jacobs also saying that Manchester United might not be too active in January without departures, but 2025 planning for the next window or the summer is well underway. Director of Recruitment, Christopher Lavelle, also known to KG as Vivs, who was brought in on a short-term contract, looks set to continue for the foreseeable future and has made a strong impression, which, to be honest, is a bit of a wish-washy report there from Ben Jacobs. Don't expect too much, but plans underway for January and the summer, so you never know. And to be honest, when it comes to predicting what business Manchester United are or aren't going to do in a transfer window, nobody knows, really. You know, all summer, wasn't it? Or heading into the summer is, hey, don't have your hopes up high. Man United aren't going to do all that much. You know, and next thing you know, we signed, was it 5 players?
Five players.
Move players on. I think with some of the late business, i.e. with, Sancho going out the door, there probably is more wiggle room in January than we had previously. Last season, it was just, there's nothing we can do. Zero we can do. We got nothing. We've got to try. We even let go Reguilon to send it back to Spurs to hope we could get someone else in, and we're like, no, we still got nothing in the budget for anyone, so that's impossible. Season prior, that is the aforementioned Weghorst and Sabitzer loans, and even the Sabitzer loan was only because Eriksson got hurt at the time. That wasn't necessarily planned, was it? And the Weghorst one was because Ronaldo left. Imagine that. Ronaldo out, Weghorst in. So you never know, I guess circumstance, injury, or what have you might dictate what happens in the January window. But I do think there is maybe, like I said, a little bit more stuff to maneuver and maybe move around. And if the right opportunity comes up, Flex, you never know what could happen in January.
Yeah, like I said, there's a few more coffers there from the Jadon Sancho situation. It'll be interesting to see how much that does help us. Remember when the Jadon Sancho thing was going to be a thing, and I went, let him go. That's fine. We've made that decision, but make it work for the club. Make it so that we can either replace him at the time, which obviously was deadline day, so we couldn't. But make it so the numbers add up, so we get a little bit more flexibility for something. But actually, that's probably a little bit naive of me, because the true benefit of it could be just in general for all of PSR, in like the whole of it. When
just
you get
bring
to
it
year
down
end,
a little bit,
So wages, sort of on their way out. A little bit of a transfer fee on the way in, 25 million, and all those wages off the book. So maybe that's the big, and plus a player that, let's be honest, doesn't want to be at Man United, and a player that Erik ten Hag doesn't want to be at Man United. It was just all over. So not to go back to the Sancho thing, because we're not doing that this morning. But maybe I am being a bit naive to think that it's as easy as robbing Peter to pay Paul, because actually it's probably a wider context with him. So it doesn't necessarily mean that transfers into, in January, we will now have money to spend because Jadon Sancho's on loan. It maybe could free up some wages where you could take someone on loan to the end of the season because of it, or I don't know, maybe another emergency left back if something bad happened. Hopefully it doesn't. But yeah, I mean, in January, what would we want to get? It would be a left back. It would be a fullback, wouldn't it? Centre half, we're probably all right to the end of the season. Lindelof's going to come back fit soon, and I'm not saying he's going to play a lorry load of games, but he'll be back fit. Evans is fit. Maguire's fit. And obviously Yoro's to come back as well. How could we forget him? So we're well stacked at centre half. Central midfield, Eriksson's been reborn. Let's be real. and getting a role in the squad for certain games if we're playing better, which it looks like we're going to this season, whether we get the results from it or not. But in terms of a unit, because we're fitter and we've got our players in, you can definitely see we're better just from having the first 11 available. That bit you can see already. So Eriksen's got a new role. Casemiro is still there with something to offer. We've brought in Ugarte. Cobby's there. Mason Mount's fit. Do you know what I mean? Xerxes can drop in there. We've got options. So yeah, I don't think they'll be in a rush in January to like do a madness. It's just if the opportunity arises that might be too good to turn down, or if one does go out. If imagine Casemiro went, I tell you what, I've made 3 starts since August. The thing, I don't know, get me on loan to Saudi to the end of the year, and I'll do that. You never. Can they even do that actually?
Well, the Saudi window's open in January.
Yeah,
they don't. Well, they haven't really done.
It's not really their thing, is it? Yeah, maybe not. But you get my drift. Maybe someone who's hardly played. Yeah, maybe someone who's hardly played might go sod this. Could be Anthony. Never know.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
So you could say, I think, like I said, if we're going to do business in January, I think that left back position might be the one. And like you said, I don't think it'll be anything super, super long term. But on top of that, also might be an opportunity for another winger, perhaps. We did lose Sancho. We could have another option out there, wouldn't it? So you could be looking at that. Maybe another striker. The thing is, with January as well, is it kind of does depend who just becomes available. Every season there are those stories of players that in the summer were pretty locked down, and suddenly come January, things have changed, things have happened, and a club isn't doing very well. There's a fallout with the manager, or they've gone out of a certain competition, and suddenly things are on. So you never. It might be something like that, perhaps. Sirens in the chat.
Sirens in the chat is such a sick saying. Sirens in the chat, mate. Sirens in the chat. Yeah, exactly. I think we're going to have to sit tight and see what we look like by then. If there's an injury crisis by then, or in a specific area significant, then it changes everything. It will be sort of numero uno prime to just go, right, we need to fix this problem on the right hand side, or this problem at left back, this problem up front, both strikers. Oh my god, couldn't believe it.
I tell you what, Flex, Virgin Media is bloody good. It's bloody good. Virgin Media is good. Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Are we back?
We're back now. Yeah. So I tell you, I told you, it's just 10.
Yeah.
I like 10 seconds. Like 10 seconds.
I thought we had passed that as well.
I thought so as well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what happens. That's what happens.
KG's working out as well.
Yeah, I got that. I got that popped in.
Yeah.
Hey, I was looking over because I just saw Mark Ogden.
What's he saying?
Writing something for ESPN.
I bet it's negative.
This won't rile people up at all. Flex.
Oh no.
He said before signing Joshua Xerxes, Manchester United had considered a move for Ivan Toney, but sources have said that the England forward was ruled out because he didn't fit Erik ten Hag's profile for the required striker, as he doesn't press defenders energetically enough.
Well, Mark Ogden's got his sources. It's what he believes to be true.
People in the chat, do you believe that to be true? Yes or no? Because it's one of those stories that it's just going to be said, and people are like, see Eric, you know what I mean?
Fraud, could have got Ivan Toney, and he told us not to.
Blah, blah, blah.
But everyone's saying Xerxes good.
I have a tough time believing that is true, because and look, I have heard this, I don't know if you've heard this, Flex, sources, that basically the Ivan Toney move, there were clubs interested in him, like Chelsea, not so much Arsenal, but there were Premier League clubs legitimately interested in him. And the biggest thing, and the reason he ended up going Saudi, is because Brentford wanted cash. They wanted money. Wasn't necessarily all this to do to, it's always on Ivan and he doesn't want this move or whatever. I think if he could have stayed in the Premier League, he would have wanted to stay in the Premier League. But Brentford realised that a couple of years ago, they thought they were going to be getting like 100 million quid for Ivan Toney. And then with what happened with the bet and stuff and the suspension and blah, 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 and a year left in his contract, I think there was actual concern about him possibly even being priced out of a move to Saudi by Brentford with how much money they wanted. So,
100%.
So I have a tough time believing it was just Erik ten Hag went, I don't know about the
money that it
pressing
was
because
for.
it
Let's
was
be
money.
honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I can categorically tell you. I can confirm that is 100% right, mate. Do you know what I mean? I spoke to some people in the camp, in from the horse's mouth, that these things happened. 100%. So the narrative when people think they know about the the behind the scenes of that and why he didn't go here and it's a disgrace he's gone to Saudi and this, that, and the other. Exactly that. Brentford aren't silly. They wanted what they wanted for him with a year left on his deal, and that put off. I tell you, for a matter of fact, that put off a lot of Premier League clubs with the price point of where they saw him, and like you said, with what had happened in the last 18 months, his stock had fallen, so his value should have fallen, and he's in his year left. So yeah, very interesting with that. Mark Hobden, do I believe that? Nah, I don't. And actually, even if that was the case, guess what? What's wrong with going, well, you know what? I think this player suits what I'm trying to do more. And the early signs from Xerxes is that good. Good. He looks after the ball. People are saying he's getting a bit disrespected early on. People are saying he should be playing in the 10 ahead of Bruno. So we're all right in a minute. It feels.
Well, again, I'm sure that when Man United were looking at striking options this summer and for the last year or so, Ivan Toney's name definitely came up, no doubt about
definitely.
that. But I don't think, to stress, sort of the be all and end all decision about Man United not going for Ivan Toney was, well, pressing, maybe he doesn't press from the front, blah, blah, blah. The be all and end all, because again, this is what it is nowadays, particularly with PSR, was money. We could go for Joshua Xerxes, who's younger, much more of an unknown in terms of the Premier League, but we can get him for like 36 million quid. His wages are what, 100 or just over or under? Not too bad. Or we can go for Ivan Toney. We'll no score goals, could go into any top Premier League side, no doubt about that. He's got a year left on his contract, so he should be sort of around sort of 40 million quid, something like that. But actually, Brentford are wanting looking like 50. And also, the wages will be high. And to be fair, like I said, I do think that Ivan Toney, he himself gets a bad rap for the whole, he just went to Saudi to get the wages or whatever. I look at the other way when he went, if I'm going to go to Saudi, you're going to have to pay me a lot of money because I don't really want to, at this stage of my career, go in there, but I'm being priced out of a move here. So,
yeah. And then that was the only, and then people say, why have you gone there? Also, it was the only offer on the table. Like, that was the only offer. Like, there were no other offers. And also, look at the offer that was on the table and what he could go and earn. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
just stay at Brentford. Stay at Brentford, run my contract down, could get injured and never get a chance to make that money again. Legacy. Am I really going to play up front instead of Harry Kane in the foreseeable? No, I'm not. Like, just to hold on to be England striker or whatever. Like, it's not the bit. Andy Cole couldn't even flipping get in the England team because Alan Shearer was there all them years. Like, it happens.
Well, like you said, there is a reason. Again, if you don't think it's about money, or like again, Brentford possibly nearly priced him out of a move, why do you think he left on like deadline day? It was left that late.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone knew he was leaving all summer. There's a reason it happened that late because it was waiting
for offers to come that never came.
And it never happened. It never happened. It's in Saudi.
Yeah. Joe Fleming said, which left back would you go for? Tariq Mitchell for me. Not Tariq Mitchell for me. Not Tariq Mitchell. I do like Robinson at Fulham. I do think he's really good.
We've been linked with him, haven't we?
Yes, we have been linked with him. I do think he's really good. I mean, look, people like Alphonso Davies and stuff, it's like, it is what it is. Didn't Brighton get they got Kadioglu, didn't they?
Yeah, they did in the end. Yeah.
Has he been playing? I haven't seen him. Is he injured?
I don't know.
He was good in the Euros, man. I was surprised he went there.
Did when I watched the game at the weekend, obviously it was before North London derby. I watched the Brighton Forest game. It's a really good game. I tell you what, Brighton they play some really good stuff, don't they? I know obviously we've played them already this season, but they do. And to be fair, even Forest, Nuno's he's done a good job of them actually now, hasn't he? As much as they're sort of when they first came up, the mad spending, all this kind of stuff, they got quite a nice settled side. And someone put a tweet out there the other day. Who was the guy that used to play for Forest and went to Spurs? What was his name?
Sessegnon. Oh no, Sessegnon. For Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, and they were saying getting the money for that and then replacing that with Alanga and Hudson-Odoi is actually unbelievable business because their wing player now, Forest, is rapid.
They are really quick, really direct.
Rapid, yeah. So that was a good match. They're going to do all right this season, Forest, looks like. Plus Gibbs White in there. Well,
Gibbs White, yeah, they're doing well already.
yeah.
Ola Aina as well. I mean, I know he can play right back as well, but I've seen him on the left at times before. He's good. Um, but yeah, yeah, not Tariq Mitchell for me though, Joe Fleming. But yeah, I think again we're all in agreement. We need a left back. Sanjeet says we're stocking up on quality youth players now, as when the stadium works kick in. Will the transfer budget take a hit? Future planning? Question mark.
Well, possibly. I mean, there was obviously the big news yesterday was about the stadium, wasn't
Yeah,
it? Once again, getting closer and closer. You know, they were saying how much money it would add to the UK economy, like 7.3 billion quid. I did find it quite humorous that, again, it was like a very rough mock-up, like it's, you know, one of those sort of
yeah, the little
maps,
circle bowl thing,
and it's a red bowl, and everyone goes, "No to a bowl stadium," because that's exactly what it's going to look like. It's just a red dot, basically. No, it can't look like that. God, that's really high-tech planning that they've got. They know exactly what it's going to look
yeah.
like, don't they?
But if it would have been square and not round or something like that, they would have been like,
they-
"Oh, don't get that, you know, don't even
They'll
change
go,
it."
they'll go, that paper mache model, soulless. Well, obviously it's not real. But
Yeah,
it's exciting. And to be honest, that's what over the last like 2 or 3 weeks, it's like the second or third statement we've got about the next developments for the stadium, whatever. So what they say, end of the year is when the task force is going to give their final
yeah, to
recommendation of what they're going
announce,
to do.
yeah.
But the fact that
I
they've got,
can't see how they don't recommend a new stadium with all
it-
that renovation going on around there.
yeah,
I
and they've
can't,
got that
I
master
can't see it.
planner in there now as well, and
Yeah, it's all
you know,
gearing towards a new
yeah, and
stadium.
they're saying it feels like, to be honest, all of the stuff they're putting out there is the sort of the sell job, isn't it? To say this is how great it's going to be when we do all this
Exactly.
kind of stuff. I saw where Andy Burnham was at. He was doing an interview the other day. And he was like, "This will be the place for football in the world. If this happens, this will be the epicenter for football."
But it
in the
could
world.
be though.
And,
Obviously,
and you're like, but then
Madrid
you're
and stuff
going,
like that.
well, then you're going to build a new stadium, then, aren't you? If
Oh yeah,
it's the epicenter for football in the world, that's not
yes.
redeveloping Old Trafford, is it?
No, it's
That's
not going to
building a
be
new
Old
stadium.
Trafford with a new stand and put a
No,
screen in it somehow. It's a
no.
whole new state of the art, like you say. You know, loads of food places around it. You know, stuff to do, entertainment. You know, concerts, all leisure stuff. Literally holiday destination vibe. You know, like where you come to this country. One of the things in the bucket list if you visit the UK is you must go to Manchester and watch Manchester United, or go to the new complex whereby, you know, you can catch a
Everything's
concert on
there. Yeah.
everything's there. You know, catch Man United versus Leicester on the Saturday at 3 p.m. and then on the Sunday watch Taylor Swift, or you know, the boxing's
Peter
on the
Kay.
Saturday and Michael McIntyre.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Kevin Hart.
And before that, you've
But
gone
yeah,
out for a nice meal in a 4-star restaurant that's around the corner or
yeah.
whatever.
And there's
And
the
if there's a
hotels
big,
on that bit
exactly,
down.
there's a big hotel, and you know,
Everything.
they're
Cinema.
building a new stadium. They're
Go and watch
just,
the
you
new
know,
Joker. You know,
exactly. Oh yeah,
loads of things.
I mean, you've actually
He's a
seen the
disgrace.
first one, haven't you?
I'm going, and I'm even going to the cinema to watch the second. I'm
Right,
involved.
because Josh,
He's a
and I don't know if he's
disgrace.
watching this morning,
I
but
hope he is.
he hasn't seen the first Joker, which by the way was in 2018. And when you bring it up, he has the nerve to then go spoilers.
No spoilers. No spoilers. And the thing is, he
Came
also
out
has the
6
nerve.
years ago.
Exactly. And he also has spoilers of, like, I say, you're one of the biggest Batman fans I actually know. It's not to do with Batman. It's not Batman, though, is it? Not Batman. Yeah, I get that. But it's a significant
Set in
character
Gotham,
from it. It's set,
you know.
it is to do with Batman. And if you
Yeah.
are a Batman fan, it's like him saying, "Well, I won't watch the Penguin. Now that's come out. I'm not watching
Yeah.
it." No,
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
a Batman fan. You've seen Gotham as well. I know he has. He's seen the actual series Gotham.
I
So,
haven't
yeah.
I haven't watched the first episode of that yet.
No, I
I'm
need to watch
planning,
it.
I'm planning
That
to.
looks so
Apparently
good.
it's really good. Yeah, apparently it's very good.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
looks good. And
But
I've seen the Batman film too, the last one.
I have. I survived. The only
Yeah.
thing I've heard, and again, this isn't spoilers. I don't like when they get afraid of the source material. You know what I mean? So they're like, he's the Penguin, but they're not really going to call him the Penguin. I think like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Or they go, we're not really going to call him this name or whatever. You go, well, then what am I
He
watching
is.
now? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's-
Well, at least now this time they've it's called the Penguin.
yeah, I did that, but still, like, I agree. Josh is mad. He's mental.
Yeah.
So
Some
you
of
know,
it's not Batman at all. I know it's not, but what we're saying is for a Batman fan.
but for the next film, that's what the Joker, and also if you're saying it's not Batman, the person Lady Gaga's playing is Harley Quinn. Like
Yeah.
it is it's in that Batman universe, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like, can't be like, oh, it's got nothing to do with Batman.
Guys, if even I know about it, then come on.
Yeah.
Also, just before we finish off, we're going to finish off in 2 seconds. Interesting, Mazraoui is doing the presser, a player presser now. At 11, is it, or 11:30?
I think 11:30 and 10 hours.
And then
11.
Eric's speaking at 11. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. That doesn't normally happen with the European setup. You usually get the player and manager in
Yeah.
together. Ryan from United Stand, he'll probably be at the presser now. So that's probably how he knows that. But he said, yeah, the player press conference will be at 11:30 and Eric will speak at 11. So separate pressers, which is probably a bit better, actually, because then you can really get into what the players are saying and how the manager, you don't convolute the two. So.
Sometimes you have to kind of make a judgment call of which question you're going to ask and who you're going to ask, don't you? Sometimes
it's not easy, and sometimes what you got to do if you've got the balls to, or you got the nous, you just
jump straight in afterwards.
jump straight in afterwards if you get allowed. But this way, it's a lot better. It's a lot better,
as they're pointing over and they go, and you go, and Mazraoui,
fucking mic. No Jamie Jackson, no Samuel Luckhurst, no Neil Custis. I'm not passing it over there. No Rob Dawson, because sometimes they'll say pass the mic over there. Nah.
That was my favorite thing on pre-season with KG when he went, Eric, and then the guy went, no, on to you. He went, all right.
Bro, in there, if you get shut down, you get shut down.
UV clips, if you're watching this, go find it. That is a viral clip. That is a viral clip.
Exactly.
Eric, next question from Samuel Lucas, all right?
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Ken says, speaking of January, in your honest opinion, where in the Prem do you think we'll be? Quickly, I'm going to say 5th by then. What are you going to say, Owen?
In January?
Yeah.
Yeah, around 5th.
Yeah. Okay. There you
right.
go. All right, guys, big up. Thanks for watching. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. You've got your Flex and KG show later on tonight, and we will go through what Mazraoui said, as well as Eric Ten Hag, sort of like a press conference breakdown, as well as me and KG's thoughts. But that'll be tonight at 8 p.m, later time of 8 p.m. as well. So we'll see you then. Take care. We're out of here. Peace.